Hello, Solution Center. Welcome to part 4 of our little video series here, and we're going to talk about releases. So one of the pieces of feedback that I got was the board was kind of getting unusable because there was a lot of work represented on it. And unless we deal with that work, yes, it absolutely can become unusable relatively quickly. But before I show you how to clear off the board, I'm going to put on my Agile coach hat for a moment and hopefully give you some guidance. So in Scrum allows you to take a block of work and start it. And then over the course of whatever your time period is, your sprint, you can progress the work across the board and to done. Um, and it really doesn't care how many things that you have in progress. It really doesn't care how many things you have in testing. It's up to the team to decide the best course of action. All right. Kanban, on the other hand, is a little bit different, and Kanban doesn't really like that approach. Doesn't really work very well for Kanban. Um, so here's a motto that I would really love to see you guys adopt. And if you could write it out on like butcher paper and hang it from the wall or something like that, I think it would really help you. And that is stop starting work and start finishing work. That is the model that Kanban really, really loves. So what that means is that let's keep the board as lean as possible. Let's keep the work that is in progress as lean as possible. It also requires us to kind of shift our thinking a little bit. And that is the items on the right have the greatest value to us. Why? Because they have the greatest investment in time. They are also the closest to the finish line, therefore um, can be delivered to the customer or whatever the case may be. Um, the stories on the right will always have more value than the stories on the left because of their investment. And because the stories on the right are more valuable, we need to start working from right to left. All right, which is a very different way of thinking. But it is the way that to have a good, efficient Kanban system, you really need to start working from right to left rather than left to right, which we're normally used to. If you can do that, the board will stay relatively lean, which is what we want. So stop starting work and start finishing work. So if I am a team member and I have run out of work and I am looking for something to do, I'm not going to go and start the next thing. All right, either from here or from the backlog or something like that. That's not how I'm going to think. All right, I'm going to work from right to left. So I'm going to come over here to PO approval and I'm going to ask myself a simple question. Is there anything I can do to help push this story over the finish line? So for instance, if I'm a team member, it's in PO approval, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the PO and say, is there anything I can do to help you push this story over the finish line? All right, either accept it or reject it. If the answer is yes, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it. If the answer is no, then I'm going to move on. And if the answer is no, what am I going to do? I'm working from right to left. All right, so I'm going to move to the next column. Is there something I can do to help this story progress forward? The answer is yes or no. It doesn't matter if the story is assigned to me or not. I'm just going to ask the person, is there something I can do to help you? If the answer is yes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to help that person. If the answer is no, then working from right to left, now I can go to the ready column and I can pick up the next highest priority item and begin to work on it. So that's the shift in thinking. is working from here this direction rather than this direction forward. So again, put it on a giant piece of butcher paper, hang it from the hang it on the wall. Really start to change your thinking here. Stop starting work and start finishing work. That is one of the key secrets to a good, successful, high-performing Kanban board. Okay, so with that out of the way, I do want to show you how to clear off our board with releases. Now, there's more than one way to handle this. Okay, so if we go back to our backlog, we've got our versions. This is one way to handle releases. Based on some of the feedback I got, it doesn't sound like you guys want to use versions. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. So we're not going to worry about that. We can come over here to the release manager, and we can do it this way as well, but there's a little bit more setup. There's actually an easier way to do it that I want to show you, and that is we're going to go right to our Kanban board, and all of these stories, I've got all of these stories right here, and only one of them has a version, and I want to show you that. All right, and it's this one right here. It's got a version 1.0. The rest of them do not. Okay, and we need to clean up our board. So if we come up here to release, all right, the only thing that the release is going to do is it's going to handle all the issues that are in the done column. It's not going to touch any of the other issues on our board. It's only going to address the ones in our done column. So really easy way to do it. We go ahead and we hit release. We're going to hit a new version. And if I'm not using fixed versions, I just like using the dates. So in this case, I'm going to say 10/26-18, and I'm going to say release. Now, all of the stories that didn't have fixed versions are now gone off the board. You can see that they have fallen away from the board. The only one left was this one right here because it had a fixed version. If I want to get rid of that one, I come up here to releases, I hit 1.0, and I can go ahead and I can release it. And it brings me back to the release manager. All right. So if I ever want to go back to any of the stories that I've released, I can do that just by simply, I come up here, I pick whatever applies, whether it's released, unreleased, whatever the case may be. In this case, I want to just see released. All right, so it's going to show me those. I can click on that, and it's going to give me the grocery list of the stories that I released on 10/26. So if you do a release, say once a week, and clear off all the items off your done board, that's a way to do it. I like it. It's relatively simple, relatively easy to do, and you can notice that it doesn't touch anything that it shouldn't. This story right here, we would need to go through the release manager to actually handle that story. We would have to come right here. So that's why if you're not using fixed versions, the next easiest way is to just simply leave the version off, and once a week or whatever your interval is, just come up. I recommend end of the week. All right, maybe make it one of the last things that you do, or something like that, and just hit release, hit new version, give it that date, and then hit release. It'll clear off everything in the done column. It'll leave all of the work that is in flight on the board, and at any time, if you need to go back and reference it, you can go back to the archives and and see that particular work. Again, just by simply clicking on it, and it's going to give us the grocery list. Okay, so that's how we do releases. That's how we keep the board clean. But again, I'm going to put on my coach hat for a moment and say, if you want a really good, efficient Kanban board, all right, one that is high performing, that gets a tremendous amount of work done, keep it as lean as possible. The less things you have on the board, the more effective and efficient you are. If you have a bunch of things on the board, you're anything more than one story per person, your efficiency actually begins to drop off really quickly. All right, when you get into the 3 and 4 items per person, your efficiency is nowhere near where it can be. If you keep it lean and you have the mindset of working from right to left, your board will not only be efficient, but you will get more work done in a less stressful manner. So if you have any more questions about that, I'm happy to sit down and talk to you guys. Those are most of the changes that I have made, at least the ones that you can see. There are a lot of background changes that I've made that you don't see, and I'm not going to talk about those. Please run some test stories across this board, hammer it, give me some feedback on it. I'm happy to make whatever changes you guys need in order to make this board everything that it can be for you, so that it works best for you. So that's it. Thank you very much. These videos, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You actually will to see these videos, but I got a lot of other videos on there. If you have any questions on how to do things, please look at those videos, and if it still doesn't answer your question, reach out to me. Thank you very much. Take care. See you guys. Bye.